thought it would be fitting to do a pour paint art technique on a flower pot, and once it dries we can plant flowers inside of it and showcase it in a lovely windowsill inside or have it placed in a flower garden outside. So in order to do this, you really only need a few simple supplies. So let's get started by showing you what you'll need. I am using just a disposable plate, and this will catch the paint when it falls off of the flower pot. You can use literally anything. You can use newspaper or cardboard. Maybe you have an old cardboard box you want to place under this, but I do recommend putting something underneath your flower pot when you do this art activity because it can get messy. If you use something that's just easy and you can pick up and throw in the garbage, it'll make for easy cleanup. Next, you're going to need a flower pot. This is actually a terracotta pot. I just got it at Dollarama. It was $2.50. I painted it with acrylic paint on the base just because I wanted the paint to have a better pop of color, and I thought that the white would bring that out. But you definitely can just use a regular brown terracotta pot. No need to paint it if you don't want to. Then you need a mason jar. So what the mason jar is going to do, it's going to be the support that your pot is sitting on. So you don't want to put your pot on like a flat surface, because when you pour the paint down, it's going to pool around the opening of your flower pot. So it's just best to place it on something. If you don't have a mason jar, you could use a spaghetti jar, anything that will lift your pot off of the surface that you're completing this activity with. So you can see that there's about a few inches underneath that it'll allow for the paint to pour off of. Last, definitely not least, is paint. So I am using acrylic paint because I do eventually want to put this flower pot outside. But really you could use tempera paint, washable paint, anything you have on hand. I find this activity really good for using a paint that you don't really use as much and you want to get rid of. So this is a great way to use that and not just throw it in the garbage. I decided to go with some spring Eastery colors, but again, the color of choice is totally up to you. So with that being said, let's get started and learn this technique of pour painting. So literally it's exactly what the title of the art technique is called. It's literally pouring paint onto an object. In this case, we're using our flower pot. So I'm going to start off by using green. You just open up your paint and you pour it on to the top of your flower pot. So this one is a color that I obviously don't use often, and there's like a little bit of a clump in there. So I'm just going to take the lid off. I'm just going to pour my desired amount onto the top. If it doesn't immediately flow over top, that's okay, because we're going to be adding more colors to the top, and it'll help to fill over and finally pour over the sides. Next, I'm going to use pink. If I can open the lid, here we go. There we go. Maybe a little bit more. There's not much blue left in there, so again, I'm just going to take the lid off and pour that in there. And if you only got like little globs, that's okay, because again, the more paint you add, it'll still run over the sides and you'll still see it pull through whenever the pouring effect starts. There we go. As I'm doing this, I just wanted to mention that you are going to want to, if you're placing the pot outside, you're going to want to use a sealant on it. Once the paint is 100% dry, just spray or paint a sealant on, and that will help with weather damage, okay? And then we'll use some yellow. Oh my goodness, this one's not even open yet. So I'll just pour this one in. As you can see, the pouring effect is starting on the side here. There you go. So if you guys, I'm doing this activity inside just because if it's windy outside, it's hard for you guys to hear what I'm saying. This is a great activity to do outside on a nice sun-filled day, and it also will dry faster with the natural wind and the natural sunlight. So there you can see it. It's just going to drip down, and really you just leave it go. If you want to add more paint, then do so. I'm just showing you around. I kind of want some of the white to be shown, so I'm not going to add any more paint. And I kind of like that one side is all dripping down and then the other side is a little bit bare. If you want it to go around, obviously this isn't sitting flat, so you can just tip it a little bit. And don't be afraid to get your hands dirty, because I'm sure they will. Again, if you're doing this project and you are using acrylic paint, remember to wear something like an apron like I'm wearing, or wear really old clothes, because acrylic paint does stain clothing. So there you have it. So once all your paint is poured, you just set it aside, let it dry. Again, guys, we're using a lot of paint, so it's going to take a few hours, if not overnight, if not a full day, and into the next to dry. You want to let it sit till it's completely dried. Once it's dry, like I said, if you're putting it outside, use an acrylic, a sealer on it, and that'll just help it last longer. So once this guy is dried, we're going to flip it over. My son and I are going to get some soil out, fill it up, and plant some peas in it that we can then transfer into the garden. So I hope you have just as much fun as I have, and I'd love to see your finished results. So please send me photos in the email that I send you the link to the video. Have a good day and happy spring. Bye.